All right, friends, today we are looking at a passage in Luke 6 that is referred to as the Sermon on the Plain, which may sound familiar to some of you. It sounds very similar to the Sermon on the Mount, and it is the Sermon on the Mount's kind of cousin, okay? In the Gospel of Matthew, if you don't know anything about the Sermon on the Mount, that's fine. There are 3 chapters, Matthew 5, 6, and 7, that are kind of the pinnacle of Jesus' teaching on what it means to be human, on what it means to be like fully living as a human being. And if we take Jesus seriously about like who he is as the Son of God, then we believe this stuff is like gold. Jesus, God incarnate, teaching us how to live. I mean, come on. Like why would we not embrace that? And even if you don't believe that, but like the resurrection and being the incarnation of God, you still can say this guy knew a lot about how to live. So that's in Matthew. But Luke has something similar. He has an account of a sermon also that has a lot of the same content. Some people will tell you that Luke and Matthew are thinking about the same event. They remember different details, emphasize different things, and this is 2 accounts of the same event. I think that's unlikely. Jesus is an itinerant preacher walking around. He taught these things in lots of different places to lots of different people, and likely preached the same kind of teachings over and over again in different settings, at times emphasizing different things. So I think that we have an account of 2 different sermons with a lot of the same content. What I want to kind of pick at today is the differences and why Luke would have picked this sermon. So the Sermon on the Mount, one, it's longer. I don't really have much to say about that, but it's longer, but it also takes place on a mount, on a hill. Why? Because Matthew is really keen on emphasizing that what Jesus is doing is he is building something new on top of the Jewish faith. He's not doing away with the Jewish faith, but he's building something on top of it. So Moses received the law on Mount Sinai. That's where the way to live was given to the people. So he's going to emphasize that time when Jesus climbed up on a hill, Jesus himself knowing what he's doing, presenting himself as the new Moses, presenting the best way to live. That's why Matthew would have picked that one. Why does Luke pick the Sermon on the Plain? One thing that Luke is really intent on is helping us to see that in God's kingdom, in God's economy, in the way that the world is supposed to work, in the way that it is designed to be, and what God is moving us towards, is a place of justice. Now, do not make that a political term, okay? It is a place of justice, which is rooted in the Hebrew idea of mishpat. What is mishpat? Mishpat is when things are out of whack. They're out of balance. They're off kilter. And they're made right. When things are made right. So that's why he's talking about, he emphasizes the sermon that Jesus preaches on that flat place, which is where we're all going. Where we're all on a level playing field. He emphasizes not just the Beatitudes, which is in Matthew also, the blessing of those who are lowly, but he also emphasizes the woe of those who are well-to-do. What? Why? What is he after here in the Sermon on the Plain? Well, he's after here, Jesus is, and Luke is emphasizing this, he's after helping us to understand where God is going with the world. It's this idea of mishpat, things being made right. So picture the kingdom. Picture when the world is made right. Picture the world being as God intends for it to be. I'm going to give you one easy example and then one hard example. The easy example for most of us will be, and people have talked about this before, but what's a racist going to think when he gets to the kingdom? And when things are made right? And he sits down at the table and you got like a black family here, and you got like some Asian folk here, and you've got like some Indian folk here and some white people here. And if you're a racist and you sit down at that table, heaven might feel like hell. You know what I mean? How happy is that person going to be? Now, at that point, his sin will have been washed away, like he will be purified. But you get the point. Okay, so it's a little bit, that maybe, I think that's easy for most of us. Here's the hard one for most of us. What happens when we get, the world is made right, things are level, and there's no more wealth? We will all be happy when poverty is eliminated, when the lowly are lifted up. But what about when the wealthy are brought down? And that doesn't mean like chastised and finger wagged at, but it means we will all be grateful when there is no more poverty. But how will we feel when there's no more wealth? By wealth, I don't mean like having your needs met, but wealth is in like as it is defined as having more than other people. How will we feel when we get to the kingdom and there is one table, forget what the people look like there, but there's nobody serving other people? How will we feel when everybody, the people who worked hard and the people who didn't work hard, the people who did things ethically and the people who didn't do things ethically, the people who we have served and the people who have served us, when everybody is on an equal playing field, everybody is at the same seat at the table, how will we feel then? And I think what Jesus is challenging the people to see in parts of the Sermon on the Plain, what Luke is really emphasizing throughout his gospel, is that might actually be hard for some of us. The poor being lifted up won't be hard for us. But us all being on the same playing field, that might be hard for us. And I think that it leaves those of us of means, and let's be honest, that is most of us, I think it leaves us reflecting, how am I going to feel about that? And how do I need to invite God to change my heart now to be ready for that then? How do I want to invite God to change my heart now so that I can actually be a part of bringing that about? Now, hope this makes some sense. God bless you, friends. Keep on going with your reading, and we'll see you soon.